Hi everyone, I'm Cerys and I am an enterprise reporter at the Los Angeles Loyolan. Today we're in the special collections at the Hannon Library and we're going to be discovering more about the Loyola Marymount merger through the archives themselves and get to know the documents firsthand. The first question that comes to mind is, what were the benefits of the merger? Why did the merger happen? And here in this folder, we have some of the original significant aspects and benefits of the merger itself, strengthening both institutions in the common pursuit of academic excellence, better utilization of physical resources, and overall, the ability to obtain the desirable aspects of coeducation while retaining the distinctive features of the Jesuit education and the RSHM education. It was important to them to make sure that both traditions were kept alive and were not lost within each other. That has been a key since the beginning, as we see here. The affiliation has been made official. Everybody knows that Marymount College is coming here to Loyola University. Here are some original brochures from the period of marketing where students were encouraged to now come to this newly affiliated school, whether it be Marymount College or Loyola University, given that they weren't officially merged yet. Here we have some sort of vintage photos that display student life. The side goes on about shared potential and what it's like to go to college in a co-educational environment. Then we see a map of what the campus looked like back then, and it does look very similar to how it looks today. And you can even see all the different buildings and all their previous names. And here we even have some images of early LMU basketball, football, and looks like baseball and rugby, which is super interesting because now we don't even have a football team, but here it is in the early 70s. So now it's 1972 and the affiliation has been happening for a few years, and the official announcement of the merger has been released in this statement. It says, "As you are well aware, discussions have been taking place concerning a reorganization of the affiliation between Loyola University and Marymount College. Since that time, the two institutions have operated as expected, with many successes as well as some difficulties. It has now seemed wise to evaluate the efficiency and effectiveness of the affiliation arrangement." So basically this letter goes on for a few pages talking about the successes of the affiliation and what's going to happen and what are the next steps really. Looking back on it, we know that the next steps are the merger, and they do too, but they're not fully disclosing that yet. We're one step closer to Loyola Marymount University with this. But the question remains of what the school will be named. There was a lot of debate at the time. Loyola wanted to keep their name, Marymount wanted to make sure that Marymount was included in the title. In front of me is a stack full of letters from alumni, people on the boards, and anybody really involved in this merger about what the name of this school should be. You can see the different options that we have right here. We have Loyola Marymount University, Loyola University, and Marymount College, Loyola University, and then in parentheses with a Marymount College. And this is what this alumni has to say. "It appears to me that the initial solution to the title of the new academic ensemble, Loyola University and Marymount College, is both cumbersome and confusing, for it clearly does not lead one to believe this is a single institution. Would it not be a feasible idea to find out whether the title Los Angeles University might be available?" So those were a bunch of names that were being tossed around at that time. This right here is when the idea of Loyola Marymount University first comes to the surface. There was a good amount of conversation had about it until they finally decided to land on that name. And I do feel like they went with the best one. So it's now January 12th, 1973, the year that the merger actually happened. So this whole thing right here is the draft of how we came to attend Loyola Marymount University. This is how the statement to the campus community begins. "For over a year, a committee of 3 Loyola trustees and 3 Marymount trustees have been meeting regularly to work out a plan for the merger of the two institutions into one. The negotiations have been most arduous, and at each step, information and opinion has been sought out from dean and faculty." For the past 5 years that this affiliation and merger has been happening, they've all been meeting to figure out every step along the way to make this merger the most successful merger that it could be. So here we have an official summary of the merger. Effective July 1st, 1973, one institution will be formed to be called Loyola Marymount University. So that's the story of the Loyola Marymount merger. It was a very summarized version. In reality, it took a lot of work, negotiations, and years to figure it out. But if you're more interested, you're more than welcome to come to the third floor and take a look at these archival items. And you can even look at them through the library's website on the digital collections. Not every single letter is in the digital collections, but it is really cool to look at and figure out more about this part of Loyola's history.